Da-da-dee, da-da-da-da-da-da. La la la. Hi, viewer, whoever you are. Do, 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 do. Okay, I sent an invite. I don't know if that's going to do anything. Do-do-do. So that's interesting. We know that people can observe without interacting. I wonder how we achieve the interaction thing here. You see the hairs in my nose. This is exciting. Hey, there she is. Can't see your picture though. Are you broadcasting? Can't hear you either. Oh, I heard a doing. What was that? That's over here. Okay. Oh. Hello. Yeah, I got a call on here and then it disappeared. But it's supposed to go through there, not here. I'm beginning to lose hope for this thing. If people as intelligent and sophisticated as you and I can't get this to work, we can't expect the unmasked or the unwashed masses of the world to sign on. It's too bad. It's probably still something obvious that we're missing, but I don't know what it is. I've got your little portrait. I can pull that up on the screen, but I can't. Can you send a note on chat over on the right-hand side? That's where I've got it anyway. I'm assuming you're hearing me because I have no idea what you're hearing. Oh, look. I've got Kim registered. I've got Nancy registered. But how do we find your pretty faces here? I'll send an invite. Ah, I hear something.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can even see you.
Yay!
But we can't get Nancy on. She can hear him. So I don't know what the deal is there.
Are you there, Nancy? Obviously, she's there.
She says she is, yeah.
She can hear us?
Yeah, that's what she says. I'm going to sign her on as a panelist. I don't know if that's going to make any difference.
You couldn't see me or hear me until I got the invitation from you on my screen that said join Google Hangouts.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yes.
I'm going
Oh
to see if I.
no, that's me again. We're getting the feedback.
Oh, mine's nice and clean. So
I just heard, you didn't hear myself say, are you there, Nancy, again?
I heard that.
It's the echo from earlier.
Huh. What's Nancy's email? I've got
Parentdoctor@gmail.com.
parent doctor.
Parent DR.
Okay, at Gmail. Dot. I hear a little bell someplace.
That's Nancy texting.
Well, this is not
I'll
very
just say
encouraging, is it?
Ken's working on it. You're not hearing the echo?
Nope.
Yes, see, that's not me talking now. That was from earlier.
Okay, well.
And I'm on a headset.
Yeah. Don't know what to do or say at this point.
Nancy said she didn't get the invite.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do it again.
All right.
That's parent.
Parent DR
Okay.
at
Got it.
gmail.com.
Yep.
I'm looking at the webinars on air online.
Anything good on there?
It's delayed, which I'm not surprised about, but it's funny to see. I wonder if that is that's probably why I'm getting the echo. It may not be in my headset, it's the YouTube.
Are you playing YouTube at the same time?
I didn't know I was, but when I click on the link that you sent me, it takes me to YouTube. So let me shut off YouTube.
Okay, maybe we're learning something here. That it could be that the link I sent was just the participant and not the panelist.
Let me turn that off and see what happens.
Sure.
All right, I'm with you now, and I have no echo. I turned it off. It was actually the YouTube video, the YouTube.
Ah, okay. Huh. Well, you know, another thing I've discovered is this webinars on air. It's just a front end for the Hangouts on air, and I'm wondering maybe our next at least one test should be just with the Hangouts without this webinars on air. Maybe that's confusing things.
Well, it definitely was that particular time. I wonder if that's always been the situation when we heard the echo, that we were in a Hangout, but we were also being broadcast on Google.
Yeah. Well, we've knocked down one problem. Now we still have to figure out how to get Nancy on here. Hey, Nancy. Can Nancy? Were you able to exchange a chat message with Nancy?
I can. Yes, I got participant. I'm seeing and hearing you and Ken, she says.
Okay. Let me try something else here.
Okay, so she's typing something.
Mm-hmm.
Ay, ay, ay. Am I getting her texts? Oh, yes. I'm going to say I thought you could hear me. So maybe what happened, Ken, let me say this. Nancy probably is on YouTube and she's watching us. The link you sent, I think, took me to YouTube. So you have to invite her to Hangouts and it'll show up on her screen. That's what happened to me. I got an invite I had to click on and I got into this particular space. She's probably on YouTube.
Okay.
Now I can see there is a delay. She's on YouTube.
Okay, I just sent her another link, and I'll send her all the links I've got. One of them should work.
But you didn't send, when I got connected to you, it wasn't through a link. I had an invitation pop up on my screen like a Skype call, and I had to click on that. How did you do that?
Oh, Lord. I sent you an invitation, and I think that's the way it's supposed to work, that when it comes up, or when the time arrives, it's supposed to come up, I guess.
Yeah, but it came up for me way after the time.
Ah.
It was recent.
Okay. That's a good question.
I don't know if I can invite anyone because I'm not. Over on the left looks like all of the tools. Chat, screen share, showcase, Q&A, capture, control room. I wonder if that's anything. You have the ability to control audio, visual.
Okay,
Yeah,
I sent a couple other links. I sent a couple other links to Nancy. We'll see what comes up there.
I'm so sorry about the mix-up on the time. Terry and Matt wanted to meet at 10, but Denise sent me an email and says this conflicts with our mental health and happiness meeting, and I didn't double-check the time. I just barreled right ahead and said we got to change the time.
Sure. Yeah, that wasn't a problem for me. But.
Well, thank you for being tolerant of my... Sometimes I think I can skip some thinking steps because I need to save some time, and every time I do it, it turns out bad. You'd think I would learn my lesson.
Okay.
I asked her to go to Google Hangouts and join our call there. She's on Webinar on Air, and that's the one I think is where YouTube, that's the YouTube, that's where I was that I had to close. How I got to Hangouts, I don't know, but I'm on Google Plus Hangouts. There she is.
Yay.
Okay, now wait a second. I'm on the other thing now, too. I got to get out of it.
Yeah, you got to close that. I love that shirt on you. I like the neckline. It looks great.
It's my pajamas.
Oh, well, you should wear them more often.
Well, I have to confess, I noticed too. But,
All right,
the neckline.
Okay. So we go get the scarf.
No, it looks good.
Okay, so here's the scoop. The first thing you sent me to, the first invitation you sent me, Ken, was an invitation as a participant.
okay.
So I was waiting. I was there early. Then you arrived. Now I'm like, "Hi, Ken." Nothing. So
Okay.
I'm hoping you're not going to, do anything I shouldn't. And Now I'm clicking on everything I possibly can. Nothing. Finally, there was something on the right-hand side that was a chat box.
Uh-huh.
I think I was on the YouTube thing that Kim was talking about. Meantime, I also, now I see it's coming up differently here. Yeah, I was on YouTube. Meantime, I also was, so I'm chatting, but neither of you got it. And now I'm texting and I'm emailing. Oh, technology and I are such good friends. And something, oh, then I called you on Google Plus, Ken.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you called me. I don't know. And I answered it, and I was, wherever I was all by myself. So anyway,
Yeah.
I have no idea what I just did, but apparently I did it.
Yep. Okay.
God.
Can you see the note I just sent you on chat?
No, but I'm on, that chat is an old, let me get out of that chat, because that chat was, yeah, here. Yes, I see that now.
Okay, cool.
So I was on the YouTube chat.
Okay, the learning that I'm getting from this is that there are two designated URLs. One is the passive participant, which is what you got, and then there's the active, I don't know, call them something else, active participant, and that's a whole different URL. So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so we've learned that much anyway.
Well, some of us have learned it. Some of us experienced it. I wouldn't say learned, but I understand the words.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Okay. So did y'all, Nancy, you got my D-Day minus whatever checklist there. Did you get that, Kim?
I did, and I haven't opened it yet.
Oh,
I got
sure.
a crazy note that said I don't have Microsoft Office, which is not true. So I may have to open that on my computer, on my laptop, not the one I'm talking to you on.
Okay. Yeah, there's no rush on that. But
Yeah, well, I think we should talk about it while we're together.
okay.
Well, go
ahead.
I was just going to say that I also read Nancy's, and Nancy wrote some copy for the website talking about the Mental Health and Happiness Summit, and I have some things on there that I want to talk to you guys about and see if you're okay with that, because I made some tweaks to it.
Oh, yeah. I hope you did. I mean, mostly what I did, Kim, was cut and paste. Much of that is straight off of our website.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I thought, well, it was good copy then, it's good copy now. And how many people like you don't even know what's on the, you don't memorize the introduction of the website. So I thought it would work. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, here's the little piece of information that I got yesterday. Pat Roby sent an email to the tech people at Governor State, and they're at least preliminarily interested in working with us on this project. They needed some details, which I provided, and they were trying to talk to two other people who needed to give their okay, and the emails are out to them. I just haven't heard back yet. So that's kind of up in the air, and what I told them what we wanted to do. So it's entirely possible that, Nancy, you and I can be sitting at Governor State, and we can be, and for lack of a better word, I used Skyping with or hanging out with, if it's Google Hangouts, if that's what we're doing, the person that we're interviewing. It gets recorded, and other people can view it. That's what I told them we needed.
Boy, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, then you've got the whole tech crew there.
Yeah, and they're remarkable. Nancy and I had the opportunity to experience them, and they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I don't mean that, Ken, in any way against any expertise you have. That's not what I mean. I mean, they're a college and they're using students, but they were so professional and amazing to me how they knew to do what they knew to do. I mean, Nancy and I walked into their control room, and it looked like, the deck of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, it was well. Yeah. And the part that was important to them and important to make it happen was all the specifics and all the details and all the time that took. So I got there whatever time. You must have as well, Kim, thinking we were going to be, I walk in and we're good to go. Oh, no. An hour and 15 minutes later, we're good to go. But hopefully, who knows? Anyway, I think that's exciting news. That's good news.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'll find out from them. It may be that it's too soon. The guy, Tony, is the one that Pat sent the email to. The one, you remember him, Nancy, the guy in charge, yeah. And he said
he dominated the conversation. I remember him well.
Yeah, that's what he said about me. He said, I remember Kim Olver well, he said. So anyway, he sounds like he could be on board, but he also said a lot of things about how busy they were and how many projects they were balancing. So it could be that October 10th is just way too soon for them. I don't know, but I'll know more. I'm hoping by the end of the day, certainly by the end of the week. So when I'm looking at what you're writing, oh, by the way, my granddaughter was born this morning.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Yeah, 10:49 at their time, so it was 9:49 here, and Nancy, it was 8:49 where you are.
Yes, and her name?
They haven't named her yet.
Okay.
They do some strange names, so they're probably trying to figure out how weird they can make it. What's that?
They're of their generation.
I know they are, and they so don't want their child to be like every other child. Susan, Jennifer,
yes.
All of those. Nancy.
Right. No, that's our generation actually.
Yeah, and when I suggested Kim, I was kidding, of course, and Stacy's first comment was, "Oh no," and then she said, "I mean, I knew someone named Kim that I couldn't stand her. I'm not naming her Kim." But that's a good catch, Stacy.
You could try Hermione or something like that.
That's right. That's actually not quite so unusual anymore.
Really?
Well, my one granddaughter's name is Emerson.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And especially since I can't think of it. Oh my gosh.
What?
Harry Potter had brought Hermione back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at your, I love this, Ken. I love that you did this plan for us, because I don't operate like this, and it will really help to have this.
Right.
I wake up in the morning and I say, what do I absolutely have to get done today?
Yeah.
That's how I function.
Well, I'd hate for us to get to the 1st of October and still scratching our head about some of these things. I mean, we need to start moving now.
Absolutely.
Yes. One of the things, you're right, the buck will stop with me, so that can be, I'm going from the bottom up.
Although the buck is going to keep moving, though.
Yes. I wrote him back and said, what do you mean, the buck small b or the buck capital B?
Yeah.
The buck will keep moving. It's like, all right, I laughed out loud on that one, Ken.
So these roles assigned, I think those are, that's an important thing. We're gonna probably spend some time on that today, but I'm thinking if we could just do our best to schedule ourselves every Monday like we have been, we might be able to stay on top of this. Do you think that that's something that you would be able to do?
It's doable for me.
I'm looking at Mondays. Next Monday, the 1st, is, of course, Labor Day. That may not be. We might be able to.
That's not next Monday, honey.
Next Monday's the 25th?
That's
yeah,
right.
I'll be in Pennsylvania that day, but I think I could probably still connect. Labor Day is something we could figure out if we want to do that. But probably we should, because that's like our 10-day out mark. The 8th is really not 10-day, our 30-day out mark.
Yes.
September 8th would be like a critical call. I think if we don't do the 1st, we may want to do a different day that first week of September. And then just keep checking in and holding each other accountable for what we said we were going to do is what I'm thinking.
Shoot.
Because we will.
Excuse
Are you
me.
okay?
Oh yeah, I'm just, my continual getting organized. Anyway, sorry. Yes, I'm good. On the 15th, I actually have a dentist appointment. But anyway.
Well, and the bad thing for us, Nancy and Ken, this may be a frustration for you. It's not going to be one for Nancy and I, but we're on a cruise ship the week before this conference. We get off the cruise ship on the 9th.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. That's not great. Denise won't be on the ship, so you and Denise the week before. So what I'm thinking is we have to almost act as if our conference is on the 3rd and have everything done, ready to go.
Excellent. Excellent. Good thinking.
Well,
yeah.
the 3rd I get to you, Kim.
Well, okay, so we could say.
But it's later in the day.
Right, and I'm doing a practicum that day. We could say the 2nd. Let's pretend like. Well, no, Nancy, actually, all I'm saying is we pretend like the conference is on the 3rd, so we have to have everything done the 2nd or earlier.
Okay, yeah. That works.
Because the week before is virtually going to be, we're going to be out of, I don't even know that we'll be in cell phone contact. I don't know what the cruise ships are like these days. I know you can make calls from them, but it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, it's big bucks there.
And I don't know what the computer setup is. When I was there, when I was on my last cruise, it was 10 years ago, and you couldn't get on the computer there, so I don't know how that works. My son would know better.
Yeah, we probably actually need to put that in the plan somewhere, Kim, to find out, because I think it's not fair to leave Denise and Ken without any ability to get in touch with us if they have, if they have to. I mean, I like your idea that we act as if everything's in place.
Right, but things will come up that week probably.
Yeah.
Well, I see in the various thriller novels that I read the thing about satellite phones. I don't know what's involved there, but that would be one way to work around this.
Yes. No, it's
a spy, and it's essential that we have that.
That's right. That's right.
I think I can probably pay for international calling and be able to call from Bermuda.
But we're only in Bermuda one day out of the travel there, travel back, right?
No, we're in Bermuda 2 days.
Okay.
Maybe even we're in there 2 full days. I think we get in the morning and we leave the following evening, but I'd have to look at that again to be sure. But I added that to the D-Day minus 30 so that we have that.
And put in now, which you may have already, but ask Kyle, or can we get on the website to find out and ask the ship?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Is that on your list, or you want it on mine?
I'll put it on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose wherever you're close to a cell tower, then that would have to be online. When you're at sea, of course, you'll not have that access. But I don't know about internet if they have a satellite link or not.
I would almost think in 2014 they would have to, but I don't want to speculate. I'll check into that. I'll have an answer on that.
Okay.
Before the end of the day.
Good.
The guest list finalized 30 days out. That if we go with the 3rd as 30 days out instead of the 10th, I'd like to adjust that to do that. That 30 days out would actually be September 3rd.
Yeah.
I think that can be done. I got a yes on a positive psychology person that's willing to pre-record.
Great.
And the grit person said no, but they suggested one of their lab people that would be willing to speak about it.
Great.
So I have yet to contact her, but I will. Good. So that maybe 2 more, and then I want to do one more shout out to some of the bigger names that didn't answer me, namely Wayne Dyer. I got a no from Eckhart Tolle. I got a no from somebody else I can't remember. And you know, it's so interesting because one of these positive psychology guys, I so wanted to go back at him in a nasty way, and I had to really talk to myself.
You have
I
those
really,
too, huh?
I really had to talk to myself because I think there must be some kind of a conference on the 11th of October because every positive psychology person that I invited is traveling on the 10th. So I started to put in my invitation that we had the ability to pre-record if the 10th wasn't good. But this person, I don't remember their name, I didn't have that in there. So he writes back and he says, no, I can't do it. I'm traveling that day. So I write back and I said, you know, I understand that you're traveling, and if you still would like to be involved, we have the ability to pre-record. Is there another day and time that might be better for you? And he writes back and puts in capital letters, no, I am not interested. And I thought, well, geez, you didn't have to be nasty about it. I didn't respond. I did what I tell Nancy I do all the time. When I feel like I want to be nasty, I sit on it and then I wait and just go back to it later. So I haven't yet responded. So I do want the guest list finalized and a schedule created.
Kim, may I interrupt you for a minute?
You may.
Who's the gal? I can't remember her name. She wrote a book, I think, Happy for No Reason. And you modeled your book after her. Did you ask her?
I did.
Oh.
I didn't get an answer one way or the other. She's another one I'd like to go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcy Scheimoff.
That's it.
She'd be perfect.
And who was the minister, clergy person, who wrote the book about married couples that you recommended?
Oh, Kevin somebody or other.
He might be worth a shot.
Huh. I didn't think about him. You're right.
Just
he might be.
It was a gentle book. It was, and it was a good book.
He's a funny guy too. He's very funny.
I'm sorry, we don't want funny people.
You're funny, Nancy.
Say, we've got a good connection going here. Now, if we can just get the front end stuff going, we might have something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the other thing was I was on YouTube because it was called Webinar, but this is Webinar too. But I could set it to record or not for myself.
Huh. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if that Webinar on air, which is the front end, which is what we have to pay for, is just redundant and unnecessary. So the next time we do this, I'm going to try it without using that. I'm just going to use Google's approach and see how that works, and maybe that front end will be more simple. We'll see.
And I think you just have to have a Google Plus account. Although you guys are in my Google circle, so I don't know. But we might want to invite somebody who's not in our circle to see if they can get in without being in one of our circles.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a correction to what I said earlier. The person who said yes is not actually a positive psychology person. Guess who he is? I don't know him. The name didn't mean anything to me, but I just looked him up just now. Are you familiar with Rick Hansen?
Sure. Yeah, I've seen him on that one that Ruth Brzezinski puts on.
He wrote a book, Nancy, called Hardwiring Happiness.
Oh, nice.
He's a neuropsychology guy, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, he did The Buddha's Brain, too, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And he wants to do, he's one that wants to do a pre-recorded.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, he presents well, so.
He's also someone that was requested by our list. Nancy, you sent me his name.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that to me, that's exciting. I thought he was just, and I don't mean to dismiss the positive psychology people, but I tried to get Martin Seligman, and he gave me a bunch of names. Try this person, this person, this person, and this person, and I don't know who they are. So it's exciting that this guy is, you know, somebody that's been on, you know, he's pretty well known, I guess. I just don't know him. So, All right, so back to the list.
All right, so one other question I have is, so what happens if you meet this lab person? You're going to have a conversation with them on the phone, correct?
Yes, you mean the grit person?
Yeah, sorry, the grit handler.
Lab rat. Yes.
Yeah. All right, what if you're going to do them, you're doing like a pre-interview to see whether or not, if they're flat as a board and boring and looking at,
Nancy, I actually agree with you that that's a great idea. I wonder if you would want to do that with her.
Sure.
Since the grit was your suggestion, would you like to talk to her if I email you the suggestion?
Yep, happy to do it.
That would
Because
be great.
I was the one that made the connection with Glasser and positive addiction. They didn't.
Right.
And I wrote to whoever the woman is, I can't think of her name.
Ducksworth.
Yeah, that you might want to check out Glasser. And her assistant got back to me. I never talked with her and said, thanks for the suggestion, and no, she doesn't want to talk with you further. Well, I said, if she wants to chat about it, because if you don't know Glasser and you don't know positive addiction, and you go back and read that book, you may not make. But anyway, okay. So yeah, I'm happy to talk to them, and so send me the stuff and I'll pursue it.
I will. One of the things that isn't on the list, Ken, that I would really like to do today, if we could, and is figure out what standard questions we want to ask every guest, and then allowing guests or us, either the interviewer or the interviewee, to insert questions that would highlight their work. But I'd like to have kind of a standardized interview format that we ask everyone.
Excellent. Yes, I think that's a good idea.
And since tomorrow is my date to interview Byron Katie, I would like to figure those out today. Can we do that now?
Okay. Sure. I mean, this is your brainchild, basically, so why don't you lead off and give us some clues about what your thoughts are?
Oh, that would require that I have thoughts to clue you in on. I'm thinking something along the lines of, and I'm just going to talk off the top of my head, I'm not writing anything down, that we at Mental Health and Happiness, I think I would start off by saying we at Mental Health and Happiness think of mental health not in terms of mental illness, but in a continuum where everyone is somewhere on that continuum, just like people are somewhere on the physical health continuum. Mm-hmm. So I might want to ask each guest what they think of as mental health. How would they define positive mental health?
No, just leave it open, Kim. How would they define mental health?
Okay.
Because I think it's important to see if they're going to define mental health as the absence of mental illness, and then beyond that or not. Do you see what I'm saying? So start with that intro, and then how do you define mental health? And they say whatever they say. And then I think you could do a follow-up. So do you have a different definition for positive mental health, then mental illness, something along those lines?
Mm-hmm. I could also ask, how do you define happiness?
Yeah.
But of course, these are questions I want them to have ahead of time so that it's not a blindsided thing. Because if you ask the average person, how do you define happiness, you have to think about that.
Right, I agree.
Sure. What I would like to see...
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
I would like to see something personal injected there, like asking the person the question, how did you get involved in this? What was it in your life that drew you to reaching out to people in this way? Or something like that, just a personal touch on how they got involved with what we're talking about.
Okay. Then I want to have the question...
Kim?
Pardon me?
Are you writing it down?
I'm actually typing, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure
we're not losing it. Yeah, I'm also thinking just a simple open question of tell us about your work as it relates to mental health and happiness.
Excellent. Yes. Yep.
And then one thing for sure I want to end with, I'm not saying this is the end and there's nothing more in the middle, but I'm also thinking what tips and strategies would you give our listeners?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To cultivate, develop, improve, maintain mental health and happiness. That's probably too many. Just choose one of those.
I wrote them all.
I like cultivate there. Yeah.
I know. I'm always cultivating things. One of my affirmations. Somewhere in there, too, I think the question about internal control psychology. And I don't know, I don't have it clearly articulated in my head. But since Glasser said the biggest obstacle, threat, and what's the other word? I mean, killer of happiness is trying to externally control or allow yourself to be externally controlled. All of the people that we're talking to, I think, they may not have articulated it as an internal control system. But certainly Byron Katie, I mean, all of her stuff is all what's going on the inside. The stuff you tell yourself. And the outside is just what is.
So I'm thinking, I forgot you guys can still see me, can you?
Yeah.
I don't have you on my screen. I'm working on my laptop. I totally forgot that you were I know you can hear me and I hear you.
Oh, you weren't playing cards or anything. So
was I picking my nose or anything?
Yeah, just don't do something you wouldn't want to do in public.
Practice if we're watching, because we are.
Okay. So what about this question? What do you think is the biggest impediment to happiness?
Good. And I think you also may want to just lay out. Dr. Glasser, the person who inspired Mental Health and Happiness website and our work, says trying to control another person, and just have them respond to that.
Sure.
I mean, unless they're really stupid, none of them are going to say something wrong, and I don't think they're gonna. But I think it might be part of what I'm thinking is it may be useful for us to plant a seed in their head about Glasser.
Yep, good. I would also like to see some thread of the cultural obstacles to mental health and happiness, as well as the personal obstacles. And we don't want to get preachy on that, but I think it would be a good idea to recognize that we are impacted by the values that surround us, and what are some strategies for dealing with and overcoming and cultivating our mental health and happiness in the face of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, Ken. Can you think about, okay, so you're interviewing me. How would you articulate that question?
Kim, there are many things that are beyond our control that exist in the world around us. That, for some people, threatens their mental health and happiness. How would you suggest that they would deal with those kinds of things?
Okay. Excellent.
You could, for instance, you could give a for instance, like what's happening in the Middle East right now between Hamas and Israel, for instance.
Yeah.
But you're really not and you might say, not looking for your political point of view, rather.
Yes.
People, and one of my friends, Laura, is, she's really out of balance about all this that's happening over there.
Yeah.
Well, let's do even a little closer to home. You have Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But give an example of cultural. And you might ask Bet about the tall poppies idea, which is a very Australian and British idea.
Say that again?
There's a whole thing called the tall poppy. You don't want to be a tall poppy. But in
Oh,
the
I
United
see.
States,
Okay.
you only want to be a tall poppy.
Um,
But if you're a tall poppy, you get lopped off at the head.
sure.
And how does that? So if you're a happy person and you walk into a room of unhappy people, are you being a tall poppy by even being happy?
Sure. Sure.
That's a very cultural thing.
Yep.
Well, there's also, because I experienced it just yesterday when Sylvester and I were working, and I'm not even sure how it happened, but I think it was in my introduction where I said, I love the work that I do. Every day I get up and I'm happy about what I have to do in the coming day. And for a moment I thought, does that sound like I'm bragging? Like, am I saying, na, 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 I'm happy and you're not? I mean, I know that wasn't my intention, but could it be perceived that way? And that's kind of what you're saying, Nancy. I could have been being a tall poppy without even intending to be.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, we don't have to have a conversation about it, although I think it is interesting to have a conversation someplace. And I know I'm thinking, if I haven't done it already, at least one blog about it. Because there's nothing worse than a person who's not happy, having a happy person come over and say, just change what you think. Really, screw you.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
I wouldn't think pink all the time. There's almost a sense of arrogance about it all. We're never intended. But anyway.
Well, and there's also the concept, and maybe this is something that we want to talk about, is if we don't have unhappiness, how will we ever know when we're happy?
Right.
So you have to have the dark to experience the light. Is there value in the emotional experience of the roller coaster ride?
Yeah. Well, actually, I think you could leave that as an open-ended question. So, what role do you think unhappiness or sadness plays related to mental health and happiness? Now, maybe that's too much of a leading question, but I don't know. It leads me there because I know where I'm thinking right now. So, but that's still, I don't know if it's a worthwhile question or not.
Well, you know how you'll answer that question, Nancy, because you're one of our guests.
Yeah, but I don't know if at the time will my state of mind be in the same place when you ask it? I don't know. So anyway, I don't know. We'll test out, see if it's a question worth asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard the conversation on hedonic tone, where you look at the range of emotions from on the bottom, dysphoric, and on the top, euphoria, and normal is someplace in the middle. And most of us have swings through those cycles. You know, your dog just died, or you had a tragedy in the family. You're going to be down below, close to the dysphoric state, and there are times when that's perfectly appropriate. And you know, how do we address that? Because the other extreme, of course, is the whole addiction thing, where people use substances to raise their hedonic tone to the euphoric, and that's not right either. So.
To do without doing the work to get there, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So the question, does being mentally healthy mean you'll never experience another bout of sadness?
Excellent. Yes, right. That's right. I mean, this is life, you know. We're not talking, Pollyanna all day long there. You know?
Right.
And if you talk to a Buddhist monk or someone who practices Buddhism, I think that their argument would be that you want to stay as close to the middle as you can, as balanced as you can, without the big highs and the big lows. But if you talk to other people, they're going to say, I like my highs and my lows. I wouldn't trade them for a middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So it may have something to do with preference as well. I mean, if you tell someone, I can help you experience mental health balance where you won't have real highs or real lows, some people would say, no, thank you. I don't want that.
Well, it's back to the what do you want? You know?
Right, exactly.
And it depends on what Buddhist month you talk to as well. I mean, one of the things that Dalai Lama talks about is that if you're in the following the mean, doesn't mean you're in the middle or you're blah, but compassion. How can you have compassion without having pain in your heart? You have pain in your heart alongside the love, and that, to me, is the compassion. So, anyway.
Mm-hmm. So you get pretty philosophical here.
Yeah. Good Unitarian Buddhist that I am.
You look puzzled, Kim.
Yeah, I was distracted. I'm sorry, I'm back. Are there other questions you think I've got 12 right now?
That's cool. You'll come up with some as you're going along there too. Some, follow-up questions to
Okay.
leave yourself room for that.
And what's the last question you asked, Ken? You ask it. It's almost always your last question. Is there something that you want to make sure that you say, or some last thought you want to share with people, or
what would you want to leave with our audience?
Yeah, leave it in their court.
Oh, so my last question, just what you said. Do you have any last words or tips for our audience? Because the question before that are, what tips and strategies to cultivate or improve, maintain mental health and happiness? Do you have any last words for our audience? But also, maybe right before, do you have any last words, would be tell our listeners how they can get your book, connect with you.
Yeah, that would be good. What I want to say here is we're not asking for last words. The sense of that is, what do you want the audience to take away from this discussion? I mean, that's probably a more accurate way of describing at least what I ask for.
Yes.
Because you've already asked them, as you pointed out, you've already asked them for tips and suggestions and all the rest of it. What do you want them to walk away with?
And if what they want is a tip, they'll put it in spontaneously. But if they don't want a tip, if they want being kind to yourself and others, that's whatever that, if that's
yeah. And that last statement is sort of a tagline for the person.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, that solves my issue for what I wanted to do today. We go back to this 30 days out. I'd like to see that. One of the things that I think we really need to make a decision on is whether or not we're going to do the video or we're going to do the audio. And the reason I say that is because in your sales letter, Nancy, I think when it goes on the website, and I want it to be on the website before Denise leaves to go on her trip, and she leaves next Friday. So I want the web page up for people to be able to register, because Denise is gone until the 8th of September. So I don't want to wait until she gets back to have that up.
Right.
So we need to know whether we're putting up that it's a video conference or a teleconference.
Right.
Video summit or a telesummit.
Yep.
And the other thing that I also added there, Kim, I think we should ask people to register to receive the transcript or whatever the thing is that they were going to get. At the same time, I can register to listen, and I want to register to get it. Or I know I can't be there that day, and now I want to register. I think that's when the urge to act will be the greatest, because they don't want to miss out. So I think we'll get more people to register to receive the tape of it if they can register at the same time that we're registering to go to the live event.
So have it available simultaneously and also at the end. Because I think there's going to be people who don't want to sign up until they listen and decide.
I agree, but I think having that, at
the option,
register for either or both at the end, and then a month out. P.S. Don't forget, you can now get this if you want it. But I think it would be useful to have people be able to sign up for it at that very time. Denise told us the story. I can't remember which one it was, but there was some webinar she knew she couldn't attend, but she wanted it, so she signed up for it after the fact.
Yeah.
But before, when they were advertising it to go, that's where I got the idea. So.
Yeah.
Are we charging for this?
No.
Okay, so that eliminates that then. Okay.
There will be a charge for the recording.
And that's
Okay.
what I put in this email, or in this thing, so I want to run that by you. And Ken, you're going to have to tell me, because part of this is on your end. The Vimeo, is that where we put recordings and people can purchase, or is it somewhere else?
Vimeo is one that I've not tested it, but according to their claims, you can run them up there, and then you can have a PayPal account. The on the negative side of the ledger with Vimeo is if you want to do that, it's a $200 a year fee, which is, it's manageable if your income is going to more than exceed that. So.
Well, here's what I was thinking, and I took these numbers out of thin air. So, well, they're not out of thin air. The 7 on the end is what marketing research shows sells best on the internet. So I know, it's kind of crazy, but that's what they say. So I said, if you want to purchase the recordings, you can do it as a download, I say. And I don't know if that's true yet. You could do it as a download for $17 each, $37 for 3, $67 for 6, or $97 for every one of these interviews. Anyone registered for the conference will receive the information about how to access the recordings.
Okay, and I will research the process for collecting and all that happy stuff and give us a report on our next meeting.
That would be helpful. See how that actually works.
Yeah.
And then Nancy had down, there's no cost to attend, but contributions to support the work and website of Mental Health and Happiness are always welcome. I'm a little, I'm not sure I want to put that in until I know that we are a nonprofit. Right now, we're in conversation with the IRS. Our application is being reviewed, and they're saying they don't think we meet the criteria for 501c3. They want us to be something like I think they're saying it's a 506A2. And I don't know what a 506A2 is, but I can tell you.
I don't feel like one of those.
Yeah, nobody has ever asked me, are you a 506A2 when they want to give us tax-exempt status. So I'm working with Conry to do a response to the IRS, so maybe they'll give us what we want, because they're saying we're not mostly a charitable organization. We get our money from membership and training, and that is true because we're not a nonprofit. Once we become a nonprofit, we want to get, it's like a catch-22. We can't get more money until we're a nonprofit. We can't become a nonprofit unless we get charitable contributions. It's like, I don't get it. So Conry's going to work on that.
Isn't that the new designation for the people who got in trouble when they were contributing to a political action, a PAC?
I don't know. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. But when they give us the breakdown of the differences, it says you take contributions, and that's fine, and they can be tax-exempt contributions, but your main source of income is not your contributions. And that's been true of us historically, but WGIUS is a brand new organization, so we can't say anything about our history.
Right.
We use it when it works for us, and we don't want to use it when it doesn't.
Right. Okay. Well, I was just thinking we should, when we get that, if we get it in time for registration, great. If we don't, c'est la vie. But when we get it, I think it should be on the website all the time. And I think we could also, after the fact, so let's say we get our status in December, we could still send an email to those people who participated and say, we're happy to announce we are now officially a nonprofit. And we welcome contributions all the time, at any time, to tap in. There are people who are willing to give to us because they have before we've even asked.
Yes.
I think it's just that's the reason I put it there. Again, it came into my head.
Yeah, I think we probably do have people who would be happy to send us money. I think there probably are people, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and I don't want to do a bait and switch either.
Right.
You said it would be free, and now we're asking for money. I don't want it to be like we're asking. Just if you feel
Yeah.
we won't turn you down.
I'm going to have to exit stage left here. I've got another commitment coming up. So.
All right, here's what I want to do, Ken, if you would. I want to send a copy of this this copy for the website about
Sure.
the summit, and if you could take a look at it and do track changes in Microsoft Word and just let me know any suggestions you have for improving it. I'm going to send it back to Nancy and do the same thing with Denise and see where we go with it. Will that
Okay.
work?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So can we look at Monday? Is Monday an option?
Good for
I'll be
me.
in Pennsylvania, so I'm hoping it will be an option. So it would be noon. I'll try to go to Denise's house and maybe be in the same place with her.
Woohoo.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Wasn't it W.C. Fields that said he spent a terrific weekend in Pennsylvania one night?
I understand that expression. That's why I live in Chicago. That's so funny. I
Yeah.
do remember that now that you say it. Perfect.
All right, so we're going to do it on this again. So wait for an invitation from Ken before I get on too early.
Yeah. I will just kind of noodle this through, see what I've learned, and come up with a revised approach, and I'll send a memo on how we're going to approach it. So.
And I would say that next Monday we have to make a decision if this is the vehicle we're going to use.
Excellent. Yep.
And P.S. Labor Day is not going to be a problem. I can meet on Labor Day. I don't have any.
I probably can too. I don't think I'm doing anything.
I'm cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Excellent. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
And can we stay on with him off? If
I
he's
don't
done?
know.
I'll leave it open if you want to.
Oh, we're transmitting on YouTube, aren't we?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, we're live streaming, Nancy.
I love your outfit, by the way.
All right, so yeah, really. Next time, maybe I won't be in my pajamas.
I think that we should probably get off of here and just call on the phone. Will that work?
Okay, there's a thought.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.